to them the giant room because one of the exhibits that I'd like to build is snap circuits, right? Those little, it's a board of snaps with wires, that are on a plastic chip that you then put, and then when you connect the circuit to the battery, you light up the light or you turn on the fan. That's the one that my kids like. They like the fan with the button because then you push the button, the circuit closes, the fan starts spinning. When you release the button, the fan flies into the air, and it's just too much fun, right? So if I could build that museum scale, right, where you have big things that you're putting down and a big fan that's going around,
Cool.
something like that would be really fun. So somebody turned me on to something similar product called Little Bits. And so I reached out to one of the founders of Little Bits because I was able to kind of network and get connected. And so she's the one that said, because I went to her and I said, hey, I'd like to build Little Bits museum scale. Like, can we do this? And she said, I'd love to, and use these people. They're my go-to fabricators. And they offer some online classes, and they do this. So obviously the classes is part of what they do.
Yeah.
I kind of want to see what their ethos is, right? And if we do go to them to fabricate this thing, Little Bits on a large scale, we would be working with the CEO of Little Bits. Like, that's part of the deal. But we'd be paying them, right? It would be a true contract job. So I want to make sure that, we know who we're getting under contract with.
Yeah, they, the other thing I was thinking is it could be useful for creating curriculum content to have available, because it's kind of like you're testing the curriculum.
Sure.
Like, how long does this take? Is this engaging for a child?
Right.
Do the kids enjoy it? Did they learn something? So it could be useful for that purpose for museums. I mean, every museum that I've been to, their education part online is really useful. And so it would be nice to be able to, I love that idea of having these resources with the exhibits to go home and take your experience home.
Yeah.
And learn more. I think that's awesome.
And I'm really sort of thinking of them as signage, right? We'll have some signage, maybe a handout flyer or something. If people want it all printed up in one place or something, we could have the whole, museum printed on a flyer by the front door that you could take with you when you leave. But
it would be awesome for members of the museum to get an email like, hey, did you know that you can learn more at home? Here's this exhibit.
Sure.
Or something.
Sure. All right, so I see you've got the Trello up. Trello?
Trello? I don't know if
Trello?
that's what I call it. I'm just kind of starting to compile, like, resources on the topics that we know we'll have first.
Yeah.
So I thought that would be a good place to start. But, you took video that was just some random person that did a time lapse of clouds. It's like a 1 minute time lapse of clouds here on this island.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of cool.
That's Hawaiian. Just count it, yeah.
Okay.
Hawaiian and local. You could
Same
say
thing.
Hawaiian/local, yeah.
Okay, for now.
So I do want to do curation as, this is the next topic I wanted to cover, which is I want to have some more community input, right? I want the community to help us. I mean, it's one thing to say, okay, I'm going to build these exhibits. This is the first half of the space. This is the first round that we do this. And I'm going to make some sort of, imperial decisions and say, we're building these 10, we're building these 12, we're building these 15s, and it's going to be based on cost and space and, all the, boring factors that go into deciding which exhibits to build. Yes, some of it's going to be, fun factor, but that's just one of the factors that goes into it.
Yeah.
And what I'd like is, as the community starts to kind of rally around these things and come to workday parties, I want to give them the options to kind of vote on the phase 2 or the next gen of exhibits, right? So giving each person that comes to a workday party 3 tokens and put some little dioramas up to say, here's what we're thinking about for future, exhibits. Go put your 3 tokens in whichever 3 boxes you want. You can put them all in one or put them all in 3 different ones. Knock yourselves out, right?
I love that. And
just letting the community actually actively be part of this curation and the decision-making process. And specifically, I want to make sure that, the teenagers' voices are being heard in some of this.
Community is strong, and we have kinship with many different cultures because we had a limited amount of people, and you have to make friends, right?
Right.
And so I do think that there's a type of kindness that exists with that.
It is. It's amazing that we live here. So amazing.
But that made me just think of, like, for the sponsors and everything and the voting,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it would be really useful. I love the idea of, like, little kids going to physically and, like, put a token. But I also feel like the digital audience can reach so much more. People that may not be able to come to a museum on a certain day, they might want their voice heard. And so having a digital vote, which, you know, like I said, what's really cool about those mystery science is he does a little video, and the end of the video is vote for the next one.
Okay.
And, like, how cool would it be
Yeah.
to be like, maybe the video is even just highlighting something cool that's happening on the island,
Mhm.
and then remember to vote, like, whatever the regular pattern of video is.
But definitely voices on the YouTube channel will be heard. But then I want the commentators to start saying, oh, I like this, oh, I hate the name of it, or these are the things, you know, so I want the comments about the exhibits to begin in the YouTube space on the YouTube exhibit videos.
So,
It's a start.
yeah, I'm just wondering if you could have a link at the end for voting or something.
But not emails. Because I figure emails can sit in the queue until I'm ready to sit down at the computer. And I'm
Yeah.
also trying to kind of have that part of my life, which I know you are too, that like work-life balance where you're like, I'll get to the emails when I'm ready to get to emails. I don't want emails interrupting my whole day all day long, right? So
Yeah.
that's where I draw the line. I'm like, no emails on the watch. I do have them on the phone, but I'm trying to only do them when I'm sit down in the morning and I spend my hour doing emails, and then in the evening I spend
That's
another
what I
hour
need.
doing emails,
That's
and
what
that's
I
it.
need.
And I'm trying to
Or
just
10 minutes.
discipline myself and just not spend all day doing emails.
Mahalo, aloha, shaka.